Hello and welcome. My name is Chibogo Nnadieblam from AIPS Media, and we will be speaking with American sports journalist Ari Schneider about his New York Times article titled Two Climbers, Best Friends, Only One Ticket to the Olympics, which earned him first place in the Young Reporters Writing category of the AIPS Sport Media Awards 2020. So let's start with the ceremony of the AIPS Sport Media Awards 2020. How did you react to being announced winner?
Well, it was super exciting, and I really didn't expect it because Danielle and Fiona, the other finalists, do incredible work, and I loved their stories as well. So I really would have pegged either of them to win as well, and it's really just an honor. I really appreciate the judges recognizing my work.
So tell us about some of the congratulatory messages you received. I mean, I saw tweets from NYU, for instance.
I received a tremendous amount of support. I studied journalism at NYU, and it was great to have a lot of my professors reach out and say congrats on that. And my parents and I had some cousins as well watching the ceremony live, and my mom tried calling me before the ceremony was even over. They were all very excited.
The article itself, what are some of the things that people have said about it?
When I wrote that piece, even though it is a sports story and it's about sports, I really wanted it to be a piece that anybody would be interested in reading, even if they don't like sports or don't usually watch sports, and especially climbing being a little bit more niche. I wanted it to be a story about friendship. And so hearing feedback from a lot of people, it sounds like a lot of the readers who have no clue, didn't even know that climbing was going to be an Olympic sport, read it, and they kind of got a taste for what the sport is like, but most importantly, read it as a story of friendship.
And how did the idea of that story come about?
Well, I heard about the characters, Mia and Luchka, during one of the Olympic qualifiers last year. And, I heard that they were incredibly close friends, and there was only one spot left for a Slovenian climber to go to the Olympics. And when Mia ended up pulling out in front and taking the spot, I heard that she started crying because she was upset that she had taken the spot away from her best friend, less so because she was excited that she got a ticket to the Olympics. And for me, it just kind of indicated that they really care about each other. And I figured, there's probably a good story there.
How did you execute, the story, all of those intricate details in getting the story done?
I started the story, started working on it in December of 2019. That was when I guess the Olympic qualifier had happened, and when I first reached out to Mia and Luchka. And I brought the story to an editor at the New York Times, and we started working on it then. And I never actually got to travel to Slovenia for it. But I did a bunch of phone calls back and forth with Mia and Luchka to try to understand their friendship, like what are some things they like to do together, and how they train together, that sort of stuff. And, I had a draft pretty much ready in early February, but then the pandemic really kicked off, and it seemed like with the Olympics being postponed, the story might not go anywhere. And so at that point, I was assuming the story was done. But I reached back out to Mia and Luchka to see what they were up to during the pandemic, and it turned out they were actually thousands of miles apart, because Luchka was at home in Slovenia and Mia was at a training camp in Tokyo when the world basically shut down. And the pandemic added another wrinkle in that friendship that I think made the story even more interesting.
Have you spoken to them after, the awards?
I did. I actually, right after I found out I won, I sent them both an email and I let them know, kind of congratulated them and thanked them for letting me write a profile of them.
So what impact does the story have on you personally?
Personally, the story was very meaningful. It was the first story I've done for the New York Times, and it was really just a privilege to have the opportunity to do it. And still, people reach out to me all the time. I mean, the story is a year old now, but people reach out all the time saying they've read it and they liked it. But I think it was just really a stepping stone in my journey as a journalist.
What are your expectations for climbing in Tokyo 2020?
I'm really excited for it. And I've done a couple other stories since that Times piece, kind of looking forward towards the Tokyo Olympics with climbing. And I think it's going to really be so good for the sport when it makes its debut. I think it's going to catch a lot of eyes. It's a very exciting sport to watch. And I'm just hoping that it gets the attention it needs and that sport can continue growing. I'm a climber myself. I quite enjoy it. And I just like to see other people getting into it and getting excited about it.
Really? Tell us more about you being a climber.
So I've been a climber for, well, I got into it when I was a kid. When I was younger, I don't think I loved it that much. But when I was studying at university, that's when I really fell in love with the sport. And for me, I love to use it as a mode to travel. Like I'll go and I'll climb in Yosemite in California. I'll go to Canada and throughout Europe on climbing trips. And that's how I started my journalism career, was writing about a lot of my climbing adventures. And then I went to grad school to kind of pursue a broader range of journalistic interests. But climbing was really the kicking off point for my writing. So I have a bit of an attachment to the sport.
And speaking of which, so can you tell us a little more about the start of your writing journey, or in this case, to your journalism journey, and how it has been so far?
Well, when I was in university, I started a blog with one of my peers, and that was, I guess, where things really started. And we were just writing about like outdoor sort of things. It was almost like specifically like a hiking and climbing and other outdoor sport blog. And after I graduated from university, I took a couple years to explore some career options and ended up just coming back to writing because I missed it so much.
Who do you look up to and why?
Well, I really admire a lot of the professors I had when I was studying for my journalism master's, especially those that write incredible long form. There's at the New York Times, actually, that was kind of what inspired a lot of my sports writing, because they do such a good job of finding sports stories that are less about the sport and more about the people that are a part of the sport. These like human interest stories, almost on the fringe of sports. John Branch does an excellent job with that. And when I was studying for my master's, I was able to talk to him on the phone a little bit and get some advice from him. And that was super influential. Elizabeth Weil at the New York Times Magazine does incredible athlete profiles that really dive deep into the human side of sports. And I've always looked up to those and read those and thought like, okay, this is the kind of writing that I want to do as a sports writer. What
do you hope to achieve in the near future? Let's say before you turn 30.
Well, so I got 4 years until I turn 30, sorry, and till I turn 30. And in that time, I don't know, I just really want to keep pushing my writing and find more opportunities like this one and find more incredible stories that I can bring to great publications. And I love what I do. I really love my job. So just more of it.